to Jerusalem. When he had drew near to Bethphage and Bethany at the mount that is called Olivet, he sent 2 of the disciples, saying, "Go into the village in front of you, where on entering you will find a colt tied on which no one has ever yet sat. Untie it and bring it here. If anyone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' you shall say this, 'The Lord has need of it.'" So those who were sent away and found it just as he told them. And as they were untying the colt, its owners said to them, "Why are you untying the colt?" And they said, "The Lord has need of it." And they brought it to Jesus, and throwing their cloaks on the colt, they set Jesus on it. And as he rode along, they spread their cloaks on the road. As he was drawing near, already on the way down the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of his disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works they had seen, saying, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord, peace in the heaven and glory in the highest."
Wow, last night. Phew!
Wasn't that awesome?
I could hardly believe what we were seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think those voices are still around?
Still here.
Me too. Yes, I am.
So am I.
Who are you guys again?
Matthew.
Mark. Luke.
John.
And where are you guys again?
All around you, in all the crosses you see around the church, everywhere you go.
Could we maybe check out Good Friday like we did Monday, Thursday?
Good idea. Could we? Yeah, that was even better than a video.
Okay, like last night, I can show you everything except Jesus. But every time he speaks, you'll hear him, and you'll know where he is because one of the crosses will light up.
Then let's get started.
Here we go again.
Let's do this.
Okay, let's begin again with Jesus and his disciples in the Garden of Gethsemane, where he told them to sit while he went to pray. He took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, James and John, and he said to them,
"I am deeply grieved, even to death. Stay here and keep awake."
And going a little farther, Jesus threw himself to the ground and prayed.
"Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not my will, but your will be done."
When he returned to where he left the 3 disciples, he found them sleeping, and he said to Peter,
"Simon, could you not keep awake 1 hour? Keep awake and pray that you may not come into the time of trial. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak."
And again he went away, and for the 2nd time he prayed,
"My Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done."
And he returned once more and found them sleeping. So leaving them again, he went away and prayed for the 3rd time, saying,
"Father, for you all things are possible. Remove this cup from me. Yet not my will, but your will be done."
Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and gave him strength. In his anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down on the ground. He returned to them a 3rd time, and he said to them,
"Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Enough. The hour has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up. Let us be going. My betrayer is at hand."
Now Judas also knew the place, because Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas brought a detachment of soldiers together with the chief priests and the Pharisees.
This has gone on long
The
enough.
one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him.
Friend, do what you are here to do. Judas, is it with a kiss that you are betraying the Son of Man? Whom are you looking for?
Jesus of Nazareth.
I am he. Whom are you looking for?
Jesus of Nazareth.
I told you that I am he. So if you are looking for me, let these men go. Have you come out as if I were a bandit? When I was with you day after day, you did not lay hands on me. But this is your hour and the power of darkness.
Now, Lord?
No, no more of this. Am I not to drink the cup that the Father has given me? Don't you think that I could appeal to my Father, who would at once send me thousands of angels?
Then all the disciples deserted him and fled, and Jesus was bound and led away like a common criminal. They took him first to the home of the priest Annas, where he was questioned, but he said nothing. Then they took him to appear before Caiaphas, the high priest. Peter followed them at a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest.
Tell me about your disciples and your teaching.
I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in synagogues and in the temple, where everyone can come together. I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who heard me. They know what I said. If I have spoken wrongly, testify to the wrong.
Now they were all looking for evidence against Jesus so that they might put him to death. But they found none. Although many gave false testimony against him, their testimony did not agree. At last, 2 witnesses came forward.
I heard him say, I will destroy this temple built with human hands.
And in 3 days I will build another without the use of human hands.
Have you no answer?
In the
Have you no answer?
In the courtyard nearby, the servant girls noticed that Peter was sitting with the guards.
This man was also with Jesus, the man from Nazareth. You're one of this man's disciples, aren't you?
I am not. I don't know him.
And a little later, someone else saw him.
You're one of Jesus' disciples, aren't you?
Woman, I am not. I don't know what you're talking about.
And the cock crowed. Then, about an hour later, still others kept insisting.
Surely this man is one of him. He's another Galilean. You're one of them. Don't deny it. Your accent betrays you. Didn't we see him in the garden with him?
Then Peter began to curse, and he swore an oath.
I'm telling you, I do not know this man.
At that moment, while he was still speaking, the cock crowed again. The Lord turned and looked at Peter. Then Peter remembered the words of the Lord, how Jesus had said to him,
Before the cock crows twice today, you will deny me 3 times.
And Peter went out and broke down and wept bitterly.
You are under the oath before the living God. Tell us, are you the Messiah, the Son of God?
You have said so.
If you are the Messiah, tell us now.
If I tell you, you will not believe, and if I question you, you will not answer.
Answer me, are you the Messiah?
I am. But I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the Father and coming on the clouds of heaven.
What further testimony do we need? We have heard it ourselves from his own lips. He has blasphemed. Why do we still need witnesses? You have heard his blasphemy. What is your verdict?
Guilty. He is a blasphemer.
He deserves to die.
Now the men who were holding Jesus began to mock him. They spat on him and struck him.
Prophesy to us, you Messiah.
Which of us struck you?
They kept heaping many other insults on him all night long. When morning came, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and the scribes and the whole council. Then, early in the morning, they took him to Pilate's headquarters. There, the governor confronted Jesus and the priests and council.
What accusation do you bring against this man?
If this man were not a criminal, we would not have handed him over to you.
He claimed he'd tear down the temple and rebuild it in 3 days.
Claimed that he himself is the Messiah, a king.
We have a law, and according to that law, he ought to die because he claimed to be the Son of God.
Then take him yourself and judge him according to your law.
We are not permitted to put anyone to death.
No.
Are you the King of the Jews?
Do you ask this on your own, or did others tell you about me?
I'm not a Jew, am I? Your own nation and the chief priests have handed you over to me. What have you done? Have you no answer? You heard the charges brought against you.
My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were from this world, my followers would be fighting to keep me from being handed over.
So you are a king?
You say that I am a king. For this I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice.
I find no basis for this accusation against this man.
He stirs up the people by teaching throughout all Judea, from Galilee, where he began, to right here in Jerusalem.
Are you the King of the Jews?
You say so.
Didn't you hear the accusation they made against you?
Perverting our nation.
Forbidding us to pay taxes to the emperor.
And claiming to be the Messiah, the King.
Claimed he'd tear down the temple and rebuild it in 3 days.
Do you refuse to speak? Don't you know that I have the power to release you and the power to crucify you?
You would have no power over me unless it had been given you from above. Therefore, the ones who handed me over to you are guilty of a greater sin.
Amazing. You brought me this man as one who is perverting the people, yet I have examined him in your presence, and I haven't found him guilty of any of your charges. Indeed, he has done nothing to deserve death. Jesus, you have a custom that I can release a prisoner for you at Passover. Whom do you want me to release? Jesus, who is called Barabbas, or Jesus, who is called the Christ?
Now the chief priests and the elders had persuaded the crowds to ask for Barabbas, a bandit, a man who had been put in prison for an insurrection that had taken place in the city, and for murder. So they all began to shout,
Give us Barabbas.
Which of these two do you want me to release?
Barabbas.
Barabbas, Barabbas.
Then what should I do with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
Crucify him. Crucify him.
Crucify him! Crucify
Crucify him.
Okay. Why? What evil has he done?
Crucify him. Crucify him. Crucify him.
I am innocent of this man's blood.
Let his blood be on us and on our children.
Yes, his blood is on us and on our children.
His blood is on us and on our children.
His blood is on us.
And on our children.
His blood is on us.
And on our children.
His blood is on us
and on our children. His blood is on us and on our children.
So Pilate released Barabbas for them and handed Jesus over to be crucified. Then the soldiers took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered around him. They stripped him, and after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on his head. They put a reed in his right hand and knelt before him and mocked him, saying, They spat on him and took the reed and struck him. After mocking him, they led him out to crucify him, along with 2 others who were criminals. Among the people who followed him were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus stopped and turned to them, saying,
Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed. Then they will say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord?
And they continued onwards toward a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull. And when they arrived at Golgotha, they crucified him.
Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree?
He saved others. Let him save himself if he is the Messiah of God, his chosen one.
You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, Save yourself and come down from the cross.
He saved others, he cannot save himself.
Let the Messiah, the King of Israel, come down from the cross now, so that we may see and believe.
Wait, let's see if God will save him if he wants to. For he said, I am God's son.
If you are the King of the Jews, save yourself.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing.
Then one of the criminals who was hanged alongside him kept deriding him.
Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us!
But the other criminal rebuked him, saying,
Don't you fear God? You are under the same sentence of condemnation. We indeed have been condemned justly. We're getting what we deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.
Many who had followed Jesus from Galilee were there that day. Among them, standing beneath the cross, were the three Marys: Mary, the wife of Clopas, Mary Magdalene, and Mary, his mother. When Jesus saw his mother and John, the disciple, standing beside her, he said,
Woman, here is your son.
And to John,
Here is your mother.
then in a loud voice he cried,
Eloi, Eloi, lema sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken